And Neil Findlay.
I fully support the First Minister's words there, but this week the acting leader of West Lothian's SNP councillors and one of his colleagues shared and then defended sharing an article attacking a young female Jewish trade union leader for her work representing low-paid workers. The article cited Adolf Hitler and Mein Kampf. The author of the article was rightly suspended by the First Minister's party. Will the First Minister now take further action and suspend both elected councillors and others who spread such offensive, hateful material and attack and abuse people for simply doing their job?
First Minister.
Well, can I respond really seriously and in a very heartfelt way to that legitimate question? Because I think it is important that all of us reflect, to follow up on Adam Tompkins' question, not just on what we say but on what we do. The author of that blog was suspended from SNP membership earlier this week. Obviously, there will now be due process that has to be gone through, so I won't say any more about that at this stage. What I will say is that the IRA definitions around anti-Semitism will be used in the consideration of that disciplinary complaint. In terms of the SNP councillor, I should say the councillor in question has written to the young woman mentioned today with an unreserved apology. Fully recognising that he made a significant error of judgment and that error of judgment arose out of a lack of understanding and knowledge. Now, there's two things I want to say about this, and I was discussing these things in general terms with some of the members of the Jewish community that I was with on Tuesday. Where people do get things wrong through lack of understanding or knowledge, it is sometimes important that we give them a chance to learn, because education and learning is an important part of combating anti-Semitism, intolerance and racism of all forms. We, and I should say the SNP, is responsible for the decisions we take on these things and answerable for those decisions. But we, in all of these matters, and have done so this week, have consulted SCOJEC, the Scottish Council of Jewish Communities, about the appropriate response to this particular situation. The second point, and my final point, Presiding Officer, I want to make on this is equally important. You know, I could stand here right now, and I'm not going to, and run through a whole list of alleged failures of Labour or other parties to take these things seriously and indeed to act as seriously as we have done this week. But I'm not going to do that, because, yes, in a democracy, it is really important that we hold each other to account, that we check each other's behaviour and call out unacceptable behaviour. That is a vital part of our democratic process. But, you know, I think it's equally important that, and we're all guilty of this sometimes, but it's equally important that we don't rush to weaponise these things against each other for petty party political reasons. Because on the fundamentals of this, it is actually really important that we stand united to say that anti-Semitism, racism, bigotry, intolerance in any form is completely unacceptable. And the SNP will continue to treat it in that way, and will continue to be answerable for the decisions that we make. But ultimately, on these issues, I think there's a lot more that unites all of us than divides us. And I think we would probably do a greater service to the memory of those we've just been discussing, but also to future generations, if we actually took the time to stand in solidarity on these issues as much as we choose to divide.